Welcome back to the final episode of the Regal London Ramadan web series. On today's episode, we have a returning guest, Toby Johncox, Head of Mortgage Sales for Enness Global Mortgages. So last year in our interview with you, we looked at the ways in which you and Enness provide finance solutions to our purchasers investing and buying some of our properties in London. How has the sentiment changed towards investing and purchasing property in the UK?
I think the sentiment over the past 12 months has changed quite drastically. Certainly on prime or super prime London assets. The appetite is sky high. We're experiencing a really nice period of time. The market is hot, should we say. Certainly interest rates, albeit Bank of England base rates increased twice since we last met. Sentiment remains very high and people are very interested in buying in London. Yes, so a good time. And I think as we see the back of COVID, with various restrictions being reduced, and the world being able to travel into London and the UK again, we'll see that increase even more.
And how have the products and solutions you offer changed over the past 12 months? Is there anything in particular that you'd like to highlight to our viewers and prospective buyers?
Yeah, honestly, in terms of product changing, there's probably not been a massive change in the pure products, meaning the margin the banks are at has remained relatively similar. I noticed on the last question, Bank of England base rate has obviously gone up and is now 0.5%. Now that's for a number of banks reflected directly onto clients. We've seen the reduction or we've seen the end of LIBOR. Now most banks are pricing over SONA or Bank of England base rate, and obviously the Bank of England base rate goes up, bank rates are increasing, which is passed on to the client ultimately. So I don't think anything in the structure or the way or the shape at which people are approaching lending has changed, albeit there's a lot of liquidity in the market, so a lot of appetite to lend money to people. I think the main change will just be the increase in Bank of England base rate.
So we have now formally launched the Penthouse collection at 1 St. John's Wood, and we only have a handful of one-beds remaining and just one studio available in the development. Now 1 St. John's Wood completes at the end of this year, in November. Can you give our viewers a refresher on the process of obtaining a mortgage from the moment they reserve all the way through to completion?
I tell all my clients that certainly when buying new build property, best not to leave it too late. So always at least 6 months in advance of completion is the best timeline to run in, right? But I would suggest as soon as Ramadan is finished that you get active, right? So giving yourself 6, 7, 8 months, even better. Most mortgage offers are valid for 6 months anyway, and the process of obtaining a mortgage offer will be 10 to 12 weeks, so 3 months. So that's 9 months in total. Once we make an application, we've got to go through the credit approval process. Depending on the lender, that can take between 2 weeks and say a month. We've got to do valuations on the properties. Again, a couple of weeks. We've got to open bank accounts, a couple of weeks, and with all of that to be completed, we've also got to collect all the various documents that we need to satisfy the credit approval. So if the process takes 8, 10, 12 weeks and the offer is valid for 6 months, then there's no reason we shouldn't get started May, June time.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much for those valuable insights, Toby. Thank you for your time being with us today. And thank you for joining us on this episode of Regal London's Ramadan web series. Now, throughout the month of Ramadan, if you are in Dubai, you will find the Regal London pop-up at the Four Seasons Jumeirah, right outside the restaurant village. We'll be there throughout the month of Ramadan and all the way through to June 8th. So please do drop by. We'd love to see you there. Thank you.